Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trench Coat, a football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarm.
I'm your other host, Ryan Sharp.
And I'm your producer, Josh Sackles.
So we're back this week. Had a hiatus for midterms and fall break. Now we're all back in Phoenix. You guys have a good break?
Oh yeah, happy to be back.
Yeah. Good, nice, relaxing couple days off. Good to be back at it though.
Is that you attempted a Madden franchise, I heard?
Yeah.
That's pretty stimulating stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to relocate the Texans or rebrand them into the Oilers just because that's cool.
Yeah, that would be
And
fun.
it's like your stadium rating has to be below a certain point, and they have a pretty nice stadium, so I couldn't really do anything about it. But enough about me. Let's talk about some NFL football from this past week. I guess we can start on Thursday night. The score is closer than the actual game, I'd suggest.
Which is saying something considering 14 points. Talking about the Patriots handily beating the Colts 38-24. What were your big takeaways from that game, Ryan?
Big takeaways for me is the Colts still aren't that great. And of course the major highlight, and it wasn't even the highlight of the weekend, was Tom Brady throwing his 500th career touchdown pass.
To Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon of all people.
Yeah.
I don't know, had we said in 2013, yeah, Josh Gordon's going to be a Patriot, we all would have been like, haha, no. But, the Patriots just have a track record of going out and taking chances on guys, and they produce. So,
I mean, this is the kind of chance they needed to take. They
yeah.
needed something in that receiving core, and clearly Josh Gordon's bringing it.
Yeah, so I am not surprised at all.
Oh yeah, me either. This makes a lot of sense. This was one of the few games this weekend that I think we all kind of saw coming, and it went perfectly to script.
Yep. So a game we definitely did not see coming. In Orchard Park, New York, the Bills holding on to beat the Titans 13-12.
Yeah, that was a wild freaking game. What did Josh Allen threw up? Interesting game, 10 for 19 for a grand total of 82 yards and a touchdown.
He also had a rushing touchdown.
He is okay. So I have a good friend. Shout out Max Kimney, who is a diehard Bills fan, and his conspiracy theory is that Josh Allen's faster than Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Yep. And he says you look at the tape, Josh Allen is electric. No joke, Josh Allen is an athlete. That's just the bones of it. He's a really, really good athlete. It's kind of scary.
Yep. I have been denying that for almost a year now. It's like, oh, he's not that great. But after seeing what he's doing with this crappy Bills team around him, he's looked pretty decent, especially for being a rookie. Josh Allen might be all right. Definitely super athletic, though.
What's your guess for 40 time for Josh Allen? If you had to take a stab at it.
Like a 4.51.
4.75. So not quite as impressive as I thought it would be, but still gives credence to the idea that he's faster than Lamar because Lamar hasn't run the 40.
Exactly.
We still don't know Lamar's 40 time, and my friend is convinced that Lamar won't run it because he knows that it's slower than Josh Allen's. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do that to himself. Couldn't do that to his draft
Couldn't
stock.
be slower than Josh Allen.
Exactly. I mean, I kind of understand it, yeah.
I could see that, honestly, just with all the flack Lamar Jackson was already getting for questioning if he really was a true quarterback. For this, lanky, awkward-looking white dude to come in there and be faster than him, I could see how that could really damage his reputation, especially among NFL scouts.
Damage his reputation, damage his draft stock. It makes a lot of sense.
It sucks, but that's just the way it is in the current NFL. So.
True, but yeah, that was a wild game. That was Bills' defense is legit though.
Yeah, they definitely look a lot better than 47-3.
I feel like we've been talking about this for a couple weeks, and I don't think people are catching on. But the Bills are going to be okay because of that defense.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
People are talking about Cleveland as a sleeper wild card contender. But I would take Buffalo over them right now.
Exactly. I'm definitely taking it. I think people are way too low on Buffalo. That division's not good besides the Patriots, and there is a real chance they squeak out 6-7 wins behind that solid defense.
Yeah. They're what now? 2-3? They're 2-3 right now?
Yeah, 2-3.
All right, so not the end of the season.
I mean, they have wins over two likely playoff teams, over the Minnesota Vikings and Tennessee Titans. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. The Titans have had a really weird up and down. They have losses to the Dolphins and losses to the Bills, but wins over Jacksonville and someone else really good. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Was that sarcasm, or could you actually know?
No, I would say the Eagles are still one of the powers in the NFL right now, despite their record.
Wins over the Jaguars, Eagles, and Texans. That's impressive. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
Bad losses.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just as the season goes on, any loss to the Dolphins is looking less and less like a good loss.
Yeah, okay, that I can get behind. The thing though for the Titans is I just don't know what to make of their coaching staff. It feels like week to week, Mike Vrabel ranges between one of next great coaching prospect and first
1 week
coach
he's
fired.
Bill O'Brien and 1 week he's Sean McVay. There's just no
Exactly.
in between with him.
Exactly, and this offense just has no consistency, and Derrick Henry looks like an absolute bust.
Derrick Henry is a big disappointment for me. I think a lot of that just has to do with them dumping it off to Dion Lewis in the backfield.
Sure.
Henry's not getting the carries we anticipated. But even
Yeah.
when he touches the ball, he's just not showing that power he had at Alabama, or even what we saw glimpses of in the first couple years of his career. It's just not
You just
there.
can't break away from anything.
No.
First guy to touch him gets him down every time.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
really just annoying to watch.
Yep. I guess we can move on to our next game here. This one was a little surprising in terms of disparity between the two teams. That's the Steelers dropping 41 against the Falcons 17.
Yeah, so the Steelers 41 part could definitely see that one coming. That one makes a lot of sense. This Falcons defense is rough, and the Steelers putting up 41 points at home makes a lot of sense. But the Falcons being limited to 17, that was really weird to see.
Especially after their performances they've had the past couple weeks.
Yeah, we know the Steelers defense is garbage.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Oh,
Josh has a theory.
I like
the
it,
Falcons cannot play in the state of Pennsylvania.
Interesting.
They can't play offense.
Interesting.
Because week 1 they came to Philly, and their offense just didn't work. And then these past few weeks, they've really been putting up some good numbers. They come back to the state of Pennsylvania to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Offense doesn't work.
I like it.
Borders
yeah.
determine your football skill.
That's obviously what I'm
That is
alluding
what to take away from
and
this.
that's
Science.
true.
Science, guys. Learn it.
Yeah.
So a dud for the Falcons, and at 1-4, it's
not looking great for them. Obviously, the Dolphins were 1-4 2 years ago. I'd like to remind people of this all the time, and still made the playoffs. So, but the Falcons also have that first place schedule.
Yeah, place schedule, difficult division, injuries all over.
Both your starting safeties.
Your best defensive player in Deion Jones. Like, man, this is brutal.
Just no production from Julio.
No production from Julio. Calvin Ridley taking all his glitz and glamour.
I shouldn't say no production. He is racking up a bunch of yards and catches, but hasn't found the end zone.
5 for 62. It's not like that's crazy. That's not world beater numbers. He's Austin Hooper was their leading receiver on Sunday. That's not a great sign. Not what you're looking for.
Definitely not.
Still weird from from this Falcons team. If they're able to lock down maybe a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, that could be something.
They could come back and have a real good turnaround.
That's the thing. Another weird thing about the Falcons, as a fellow Tevin Coleman owner, this Ito Smith run is getting real weird.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm getting tired of it, but in terms of fantasy, I'd like to see Tevin Coleman touch the ball a little more. I think he's just better.
He's better than all 3 of those running backs. Of Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman, and Ito Smith, he is by far the most talented. He can by far do the best things with the ball in his hands.
And they're just not giving it to him.
That is a theme across the league where we are seeing these super talented running backs in these committees where there's a clear front runner and just a coach refuses to. Like in Green Bay, Aaron Jones needs to get the ball. In Detroit, Kerryon Johnson needs to, and just these coaches refuse.
Kenyon Drake needs to get the ball.
In Miami, Kenyon Drake, and these just coaches are refusing to shy away from their long term, from these veterans. I don't really get it. That's a larger point, but it frustrates me to see 3 carries for 5 yards and a touchdown for Ito Smith.
Yeah, that's just
final point about Ito Smith that I find interesting. Ito, not his real name, but his parents thought he looked like
Lance Ito.
Famous O.J. Simpson judge Lance Ito, and called him Ito for the rest of his life. I think that's fantastic.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
I know we're big, I don't want to say O.J. fans.
We
take a lot
trial.
of interest in the O.J. trial.
Bingo. There we go.
Anything that comes back to that, we're all over.
We're all about. Moving on, though. What game excites you next?
It's not exciting as a Dolphins fan because the Jets look real good in this one. They beat the Broncos 34-16. What we saw from the Jets offense, I don't think we expected, and likewise we did not expect this dud from the Broncos defense, who's been holding up pretty nicely the first quarter of the season.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of the Broncos defense. I actually was kind of high on the Broncos in general just because I liked what they were doing on the offensive side of the ball and the defense. There's just so much talent, but Sam Darnold just eviscerated them. I don't know I don't know where this was weeks 1 through 4, but man, he looked awesome.
I don't know, is it just a lack of preparation for a rookie, no film? I don't know, but it seems like no one else had that problem.
I also wouldn't be shocked if just a natural progression for
Yeah.
him, just as he's learning the game more. But he looked dynamite.
I definitely like what I saw from Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he had some throws that were just made your jaw drop.
Yeah, we saw the first, 3-4 weeks, he's forcing a lot of stuff. He's just making not great decisions, throwing across his body. Seems like he's trying to get rid of the ball more than he's trying to find the receiver, and that is definitely not the Sam Darnold we saw on Sunday.
No, clearly there's been a shift in scheme toward away from these crazy long drawn out plays and more short action stuff, which is clearly benefiting him. But yeah, he's playing really well. That was a huge stepping stone for him. I think this could project for the rest of the season as something that really carries this Jets team.
Yeah, I would love to see, it'll be stressful, but a 3-team wildcard race between the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills, I don't know, that seems like it would be kind of fun.
I mean, who didn't see that coming at the beginning of the year? All three of those teams being in the wild card hunt. That looked inevitable.
It's still so early. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I just see more wins than losses, and I'm on the Super Bowl train. So
I like it. Moving on. What game you want to talk about next, Ryan?
Let's hit on Jags Chiefs. Our first kind of slow game from Patrick Mahomes. He did have that nice athletic rushing touchdown, but it was not what we've seen in the previous 4 weeks out of Mahomes.
First game without a throwing touchdown, first game with a pick. A lot of firsts for Pat Mahomes here, but not his first loss.
Yep.
So that's all that really matters.
Yep. Obviously, their defense stepped up in a big way.
Yeah.
Granted, they were playing Blake Bortles, who these past 2 weeks has looked like Blake Bortles from 2014 to 16. 2017 and Patriots Blake Bortles are just nowhere to be found. Just real irresponsible decisions, just lightly dumping the ball off behind the line of scrimmage, giving defensive linemen plenty of time to snatch it out of the air and run it for a touchdown. That is classic Blake Bortles right there. And I was real disappointed to see that. Blake Bortles is a guy who's always just, I feel like he's gotten the short end of the stick a lot of years.
Definitely.
And then he finally has this, pretty good team around him. He's able to, manage, and he just gets in there and he keeps sucking.
Yeah, it's super disappointing. It's really we all had this, this moment with Blake Bortles versus the Patriots. We're like, oh my God,
we were so
wrong. He
wrong.
can carry this team. Yeah, we're all wrong. He can carry this team. Jaguars winning the Super Bowl. And then just from there, he's built like dog crap. I don't know what it is, but man, I do know what it is. It's Blake Bortles. Clearly the Patriots game is a deviation from the mean and not what we should expect. And that's just disappointing because that so limits the ceiling of this Jaguars team.
Yeah, you're right. Leonard Fournette, I heard today he's going to be out for at least a couple more weeks. They're being super conservative with him.
Probably makes sense.
Yeah. At this point, I think the Jags without Fournette conspiracy is probably not looking too great, though.
That was a take at one point.
I think at this point, they definitely need their number one running back, and they're getting all the carries he can, because...
That's the thing, though. The drop-off between Fournette and T.J. Yeldon, I don't think is that distinct. I think Fournette's super talented, but T.J. Yeldon
he's pretty good.
Is as blue chip as they come. From Alabama, he was a 5-star high school prospect. He's a stud. So I don't know. I don't think they lose a whole lot in the drop-off between Fournette to Yeldon, but I don't think it matters who's behind Blake Bortles if he's playing like that. Like they could have Emmitt Smith back there, and he's not leading them to a dub.
Yeah. All right, another, I guess, shocking game? I don't know if shocking is a great word, but the Lions this year have 2 wins. They're over the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers, knocking them off this week 31-23.
The Lions only play well against elite quarterbacks.
Facts.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that has to be it.
What's going on?
I just told you, Sharp.
This was weird. I didn't get this at all. If I'm gonna be honest, I knew the Packers' defense is bad. And we talked about their corners, and so when you look at it just straight that way, the Lions wide receivers versus the Packers corners was going to be a huge advantage for the Lions. But I just didn't think they'd be able to exploit it. I did not think that Matt Stafford didn't even have that great a game. It's just these wide receivers were just dominating the game.
Kenny Galladay, great game.
Kenny Galladay is awesome. Kenny Galladay is so good. It's crazy.
Yeah, no one thought he'd be up there with the top level receivers, but here he is right now. So
No, he is a freak athlete. He gets every ball thrown in his radius. He has some of the best hops in the league. I feel like he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to be so much fun to watch, and yeah, against these crappy corners, that makes that individual part of this game makes a lot of sense. But besides that, man, this Packers team is looking rough.
yeah,
I'm real worried.
I think I said it a couple weeks ago when they were losing to the Redskins, and even when they're winning, my personality comp for Aaron Rodgers is Jay Cutler. He just does not look like he's having fun on the football field.
No, he really doesn't.
Football is definitely, at least it looks like it's his job, and he's just really good at it.
I mean, I could also just see him just being beaten down by the presence of Mike McCarthy. Like the fact that he's had to work with Mike McCarthy for the last 6-7 years. That's just
longer than that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, it's bad. I feel for Aaron Rodgers because
Yeah.
this offense is simplistic, and like in this era of crazy numbers and amazing games from quarterbacks, I feel like we rarely see it from Aaron Rodgers in terms of
unless they're down late in the game and he brings them back with 2 minutes to go.
He has great moments, but you never see just these extended great games from Rodgers where all great games from Rodgers are transcending the play calling rather than helping with the play calling. And
he had that one MVP year, and just since then we really have not seen fantastic regular seasons, I guess, from Aaron Rodgers.
It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. This defense is rough. I don't know. I mean, I still have faith in the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers, but man, Mike McCarthy needs to go. There needs to be a shift in poise and shift in just perspective on this team.
All right, let's play a quick game of Would You Rather. Don't want to hold things up too much. Would you rather your Super Bowl prediction be correct and we get another 4 years of Mike McCarthy,
Ooh.
or the Packers somehow only win 2 or 3 more games, get 6 or 7 wins, and they fire him and move in a different direction in terms of coaching?
For Aaron Rodgers' sake, I'm gonna take the latter just because we're taking long term over short term here. But the chance to grab a chip is enticing. I'm not really sure how many Rodgers gets left, and he has many. I don't know if he captures more than one before his career ends.
And if Mike McCarthy knew what he was doing, he would take a look at this Packers team and really think, okay, do we have a shot to win the Super Bowl? And if the answer is not yes, then he'd say, Aaron, take the rest of the year. Get completely healthy. We're going to reload for next year. We'll be ready next year.
I just don't think Mike McCarthy has that mental capacity.
Yeah, that's the issue. So the Green Bay Packers ownership, which is their fans, need to...
That was my next question, is this situation different if the Packers have an actual owner instead of...
they have CEO and they have a CFO. And 12 years also for Mike McCarthy.
That's a long time. I think that's the entirety of Rodgers' maybe his rookie year.
That sounds like most of Rodgers' career.
Yeah. Rodgers was drafted in 2005.
Yeah, so Rodgers had 1 year without Mike McCarthy, and then
it was a beautiful year.
Oh man, that is brutal. That's horrible.
I guess we can move on to our next game. Not too exciting, but it involved the Browns getting a win, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
Cleveland knocking off the Ravens 12-9.
Involving the most disgusting looking game-winning kick I think I've ever seen.
That was brutal. I think someone did, get a hand on it.
Okay, did they?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, interesting.
So it did not look good, but it went in.
That wobbled and just hit the bottom corner.
Yeah, I think someone got a hand on it, and it just had enough off the leg to move through the uprights.
Solid game for Baker, though. Baker looked competent.
Yeah. What do we say? Threw the ball 43 times.
43
and
times.
they only put up 12 points.
I know that's concerning for me. That seems strange. But still,
that does seem strange. But I feel like every quarterback has a game like that where
definitely.
They do all right, and then there's just no scoring.
342 too.
So it's not a terrible game.
No, a subjectively pretty great game for Baker.
Yeah, just all between the 20s. So
yeah, exactly. I don't think we learned anything new about Baker, but I think this kind of reaffirmed a lot of what we thought. Or at least what I personally thought about him is that he's an above average game manager.
Yeah.
I think he does some things in the pocket. He's super mobile in the pocket. His accuracy is top notch. I still have real concerns about his arm strength. I still have real concerns about his decision making, but overall,
yeah, he's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not driving the Baker bandwagon. I'm barely on it, but I see where these people are coming from. I can get behind the Baker hype.
Yeah. Ravens, we thought they were going to be...
Yeah, what are you doing, Ravens?
I mean, we fluctuated so heavily on the Ravens. Beginning of the season, we're like, oh, they're going to be bad. 2 weeks ago, oh, they're going to run away with this division. Here we are, they're losing to the Browns 12-9. I don't know what to make of them.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco just seems is the most mercurial quarterback in the league. Like his range between a great game and a bad game, I think, is bigger than any other quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, maybe Alex Smith.
Maybe, okay, yeah, possibly Alex Smith.
But like that's a stretch, I think. Yeah, I think Joe Flacco's time is just about up. But he's got that massive contract, and I guess he's been somewhat serviceable through the first 5 weeks, so I don't see them really making a change anytime soon.
I mean, if there's going to be a change, it's going to be Lamar. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we're all waiting for.
Yeah, I really want to see Lamar Jackson play.
Me too. I'm so ready for Lamar to play. And he gets these little bits. He gets these little bits and pieces. They have these little trick plays for him. But that's it. That's all we get to see.
I saw a tweet the other day. I forget who it was. I'd love to give you credit. But it was the Saints. Taysom Hill is everything the Ravens want Lamar Jackson to be. In terms of they have like a couple plays drawn up for him where, you know, he gets in there and does his thing, and it hasn't worked out too well yet, but it has worked out for Taysom Hill. So
the sad thing about that is I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that Lamar Jackson's slightly more talented than Taysom Hill.
I don't know, man.
Hot take. I know, but personally, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback of the future than Taysom Hill.
Are you sure? Because Joe Tessitore is not.
Joe Tessitore is convinced Taysom Hill is the quarterback of the future. In New
that
Orleans.
Entire crew was. That entire Monday night crew.
I don't know. I think they're all drinking whatever Booger's cooking. Like Booger's stewing up something backstage, and they're all drinking it.
I mean, I guess we can talk about that when we hit the Monday night game if we really want to. But we definitely have some opinions about that broadcast crew. I guess moving on, a close game when we, I guess, thought might not have been that close is the Panthers and the Giants. Odell Beckham throwing that long touchdown to Saquon.
Odell, the best quarterback on the Giants. Confirmed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We know that for sure now.
Odell, we talked about this the other night. He can do anything. I bet he could probably knock through a 40-yard field goal if we really asked him to.
He is the best quarterback on that team, wide receiver, running back, head coach, like all of those things I think Odell Beckham could nail.
He is just an incredible all-around athlete. I don't know why they're using him more. I don't agree with him going to the press about it.
Yeah.
To diss the coaching staff, but I think he's right. Why aren't they throwing on the ball? I mean,
that's the thing though. It's not like they're not throwing on the ball. It's just like that Eli can't get it there.
Yeah.
He's also pretty high up there in drops. I read something the other day where Odell has been dropping a fair amount of the balls that have been thrown to him.
I mean, I feel like drops kind of go hand in hand with targets. Like the more targets you get, the more drops you get. But
at some point though, like you're just gonna have to acknowledge that you have one of the best receivers in your league, and for him to be catching all these like 8-yard out routes,
exactly. That's not the best use of his skills. Like
if you're really that confident in Eli Manning, then let him throw the ball 20, 30 yards downfield.
Okay, that's the thing.
Or
he can't throw the ball 10, 20, 30 yards down the field. That's the thing. I don't think there's a disconnect between like schematics. I think it's a disconnect between talent, and I think Odell's like, yeah, I need somebody who can chuck me the rock. I'm gonna go, you know, I am one of the fastest players in the league. Nobody can guard me 1-on-1, and yet we can't have a quarterback who can throw it. He can't throw anything but anything less than a 10-yard out route. Like that's all he can throw. And so I would imagine that's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I bet it is. A lot of respect for Eli Manning, but his time is definitely up as well.
Oh my God, I think the passing on Darnold is going to look.
Yeah, that's going to look. I love Saquon too, but
me too.
Passing on Darnold or Rosen for that matter.
I feel we keep harping on this, but man, that is a franchise-altering mistake.
Yep, and we thought Josh Allen was going to be the franchise-altering mistake.
I mean, Josh Allen would be a better pick right now than Saquon. But yeah.
But it was cool to see Odell throw that touchdown.
That was really cool.
Of course, the big play of that game was the final one. Graham Gano hits the walk-off 63-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Anytime you see anything over 60, it's pretty impressive. And now Graham Gano, who has had kind of a shaky career in terms of kick accuracy, joins an elite group. I think there's probably less than 10 guys to knock it through from 63.
Really? You think that little?
Yeah. I mean, Tom Dempsey, of course, was the first to do it with a half a foot, which is also pretty impressive.
That is incredible.
A nice thing, Graham Gano had a signed kicking tee from when he met Tom Dempsey.
That's kind of cool.
And he put this ball on that tee.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and I think that's super cool.
That is really
That's
cool.
awesome.
I had no idea. That's
So,
wild.
I mean,
That's incredible.
I also have a Tom Dempsey autograph laying around somewhere back in Pennsylvania, so I think that's a pretty cool thing to have in general. But to put your game-winning 63-yard kick on a tee signed by the first man to knock it through from that far.
So what you're saying that is if you were placed in the situation of having to kick a 63-yard field goal because you have Tom Dempsey's
I would have
sign-
made it.
Exactly. You
And
would
then
made
I
it.
just would have put the ball next to my framed signed photo of Tom Dempsey.
Beautiful,
Exactly.
beautiful. Yeah. That was an interesting game. I don't know. I am confused how the Panthers let this get because I feel like they had this one in control the whole game,
Yeah.
and then towards the end just kind of let it slip up. But no, good win for this would have been a disgusting loss considering how in command they were. But yeah, squeaked that one out.
Oh, man, you just talked about how in command of the game the Panthers were and how they were able to hang on despite the shocking drop. And the next game we have on this list involves blowing a 17-point fourth quarter lead, and that would be the Miami Dolphins falling to the Cincinnati Bengals 27-17. That two-possession score, I don't think that's an accurate representation. Just a dumb pick six by Ryan Tannehill on a chance for the game-winning drive. I had some confidence. He'd done it before. They had 3.5 minutes left, and he just kind of threw the ball up in the air, 2 yards away, and it landed.
Yeah, that
For-
was
just
rough.
all around, a really. I don't want to say it was a bad game from the Dolphins because they had a good first half. That second half is the worst I've ever seen them play.
I mean, 24 unanswered for the Bengals in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
Yeah, I've never seen the Dolphins play that bad. They just could not get anything going on offense. Seems like there's no faith in the run game. Laramie Tunsil got knocked out, and his backup, Sam Young, was just a swinging gate. No presence in Tannehill was rushed pretty much the entire second half, and the whole thing fell apart.
I mean, when you lose, they've lost now 3 starting offensive linemen.
Yeah, Tunsil should be okay. He was in the concussion protocol. They probably kept him out the rest of the game just because it was so late.
Sure.
So hopefully he's back, but still losing your starting center and your starting left tackle.
Yeah.
It's just,
Wait, left tackle or guard? Yeah,
I apologize. That's gonna hurt you anyway. It seemed like they were holding up all right, and then they lose Tunsil, and that was it. You can probably squeak by with 2, but once you hit that loss of 3 starting, you're just,
most teams carry a backup tackle and a backup guard. That's usually how.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that tackle can push inside if necessary.
Yeah.
But now
ugh. It's just
Oof.
things aren't looking too great for the Dolphins, and they play the Bears next week. So of course they have that defensive front featuring Khalil Mack. So I'm not really sure what to do as a fan.
I don't know if this is what you want to hear, but I think it's time for the Dolphins to tank the rest of this year. It's time for, just because getting a top 5 pick and be able to kind of reset, I think kind of sounds like the best alternative for this
I
franchise.
would agree with that. I just think I know Tannehill has a couple years left on his contract, but just given what we've seen the past, his 5 years that he's played, and then the first couple weeks we thought, oh, he might have it together, and that just wasn't the case. He's not. I've had faith in Ryan Tannehill for a long time, but whatever I had left, it's gone now. I can't keep saying, he's all right, we'll get through with him. And, you're right. I think it's probably time to go in a different direction.
It's a shame. Just because I have so much faith in Adam Gase. That's the thing. I kind of believed coming into this year that Adam Gase could turn any quarterback into competence.
Yeah, so I've lost a lot of faith in Adam Gase, too.
Interesting.
Just because, he was supposed to be the one to fix Ryan Tannehill, and he just hasn't done that. I don't know if it's play calling that's hurting them more than Tannehill's performance, but something's got to give. So I'm pro tanking the rest of the season. I'm also pro playoffs, obviously, but this just has 7-9 written all over it for the Dolphins.
Yeah, man, that would be the worst.
Yeah,
that's super disappointing. But Bengals if we're just viewing this. If we're zooming out a little, that is a hell of a comeback for the Bengals.
Yep, a great comeback. Way to really take advantage of Dolphins' miscues. 2 penalties late in the game that would have had the Bengals knocked back inside their own 10, or they would have had to punt, and they were just able to capitalize. And I don't think there's a lot of teams that can really do that. I think maybe 1 penalty swings their way,
sure,
and then they get the momentum for 1 play. But I don't know. I think that that first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on a punt against the Dolphins, that changed the game completely.
Yeah, this was just an overall disappointing game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this Bengals team goes.
Me too. With the Steelers really, they didn't struggle last week, but we've seen.
No, in general though.
Yeah, such like a mixture of good and bad from the Steelers, and the Bengals are definitely the most consistent team in this division.
Playing this week, can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, I picked them to win 3 games, and they've already won 4. So here we are.
Yeah, and Andy Dalton resurgence season. This defense looks legit. A lot of thinking that this could be a real AFC North and maybe a AFC Championship game contender.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Are you pro Marvin Lewis keeping his job? Because personally, I am all for a total collapse and a firing of Marvin Lewis.
Oh man, that is a good question. I'm pro Bengals being good, but I'm anti Marvin Lewis sticking around.
Interesting. That is a conundrum then.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not sure which one I'd rather have. So I guess with that we can move on to the next game between the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers and the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, the sisterhood of the traveling teams.
Yeah.
2 teams caught between 2 cities.
Bingo. We got all the puns here on 2 Kids in a Trench Coat.
Yeah, the Chargers in practice were pumping crowd noise into the StubHub Center. That's their home stadium, in case you didn't know, in preparation for the Raiders fans that were coming to visit. I don't know what that says about support for the Chargers in LA.
It basically says the exact same thing about support for the Chargers in San Diego, which is every game is a road game. Like that's just a reality situation. Is that like even when the Chargers are at home, and I'm putting those in air quotes, like they're not at home.
Yeah.
Like, no home game's an actual home game, which is
especially when you have a fan base as loyal as the Raiders, fairly close.
Exactly,
they're gonna make that trip.
I mean, the Niners were the same way. Then when the Niners came to StubHub, like it was. No joke, 80% Niners.
Yeah, I mean, I drive the 5 hours to Buffalo when I'm home in Pennsylvania to see the Dolphins.
Exactly.
So, Bills obviously a little different, but
and you're willingly go to Buffalo. Like that's a commitment.
Yeah, man, that's just we could do a whole podcast on the Buffalo football experience if we really wanted to.
Oh man, there's a clamoring for that.
Yeah, Bills Mafia would be all over that.
Definitely
They're talking about us, guys.
Definitely stay tuned sometime in February because after the Super Bowl,
yeah,
after college football playoff,
we
might be running out of some football. So if you want to really hear about the Buffalo football experience as told by Ryan Sharp,
yeah, come back in a couple
definitely.
months.
Keep listening.
So, what did you think of this away home game for the Chargers?
Thankfully, as a Chargers fan, it was exactly what I expected. Like, it felt really good to come into the game knowing that the Chargers are the better team here, and they just demonstrated it the whole game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just throughout the entire game, I don't think they did anything super special, but they stuck to what they did well, and they executed, and the Raiders are just not that good.
The Raiders' defense is atrocious, but what they could really use is a pass rush.
They're hard to find, though.
Those pass rushers are hard to find. The Oakland nabbed a total of 2 quarterback pressures on Sunday, and one of them resulted in a roughing the passer. So not what you want to see if you're a Raiders fan.
I mean, Phillip Rivers is still pretty good, I would say, but he's also 36. I think you could probably get back there a little more. Just
with Chargers missing both their starting tackles and immobile Phillip Rivers, the fact that they got 2 pressures is embarrassing.
Probably the only thing more embarrassing than that, another John Grudenism, if you will. Chargers, of course, drafted Derwin James in April, and John Gruden said in the week leading up, I wanted Derwin James. And guess who was on the board when they drafted Colton Miller?
Derwin James.
I don't know what to say. What do I make of John Gruden?
Everything that comes out of John Gruden's mouth makes me laugh.
Yeah. I wish that wasn't the case because I want to take an NFL coach seriously, but
when your NFL coach is a walking SNL skit, I'm not gonna take you seriously as a franchise.
Yeah. No. It's hard to make fun of John Gruden because it's always really accurate.
Exactly. That's the sad thing. And what's even more disappointing is I respect the hell out of Reggie McKenzie. I think he's one of the best GMs in the league, and I think he is one of the best talent evaluators I think we've ever seen in football. he is really good at his job, but he made one colossal blunder in hiring John Gruden. It's going to ruin their franchise for 10 years, 10-year contract.
I'm not convinced that Reggie McKenzie is behind the John Gruden signing. I think that is probably 99.11% Mark Davis.
I mean, yeah, but you had to think he had at least sign off on it. Like,
I mean, I'm sure he signed off on it, but if I had to guess, it was probably super hesitantly.
I guess.
He probably held out as long as possible, saying, like, Mark, you have a child's haircut. What the hell are you doing? Do not bring this man, who also has a child's haircut, back to Oakland.
I think I saw some tweet where it's like John Gruden is the Mark Davis haircut of the NFL. Like,
Yeah.
It's incredible. That franchise is a joke, and I love playing them twice a year because
I can't believe the Dolphins were trailing by 10 against them.
That's aged poorly, but you escaped with a
They won, so it's all right.
That's all.
Jacob.
I wish this Raiders team was 0-5 also. They should be
Yeah.
0-5. I really want this Raiders team to finish 0-16, or could have. But no, I will have to settle for 1-15 or 2-14, and I guess I'll just have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I know. It is tough, but I will survive. I will survive, and I will enjoy the Raiders' misery as I don my Derwin James jersey.
I as a fan, I enjoy watching it too. So, as a journalist, I don't know if I'd want to cover this team. It seems just like a terrible all-around
That'd be
experience.
depressing. I feel like no one likes each other. Derek Carr, I don't know. Derek Carr actually kind of seems fun. I don't know. I like to spend time with Derek Carr, but everyone just seems unhappy there. Donald Penn got injured. Like, I don't know. It's a crap show.
So I guess we can move on to our next game, featuring another rookie quarterback. Because we've touched on them a couple times already. Josh Rosen had his first big day of his career.
Yeah,
knocking off.
Out of a big might be an overstatement there.
Yeah, big is definitely an overstatement.
He had a day. He had a day for sure.
It was better than against the Seahawks.
Bingo.
So,
yeah.
I don't know how hard that is to do, to play better than he did 2 weeks ago, but he did it he definitely did better.
Yeah, he looked competent, and that's all you can really ask from your rookie quarterback. Of his first full start, that's all you're looking for.
Yep. Man, I know we said this last week. I just really feel bad for Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, Garoppolo goes down. You're bringing in C.J. Beathard. You already lost Jerick McKinnon. And you have Matt Breida, who looks like he's going to be all right, and then he gets hurt. And it's just, it's not looking good for Kyle Shanahan. I think he'll stick around just because everyone knows that he's gotten screwed in terms of injuries.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Kyle Shanahan's job's secure for sure.
I still feel bad for him, though. This was supposed to be the Niners' resurgence here.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, let's get it. We're finally back, and Texas is back too as well. And just we'll have to wait another year, I guess.
Similar to the Falcons, I'm kind of excited to see if they're really bad, get a top 5 pick and just get a stud. Because all these teams that don't need quarterbacks are going to be picking in the top 5 are going to get
some
crazy
super
value.
talented skill player.
Exactly, because we've just seen that these teams are willing to trade up for quarterbacks even if they're not worthy of a top 3 pick, and so like that 4 through 8 range is ridiculously valuable. Because that's where the best players period are.
Also, I think a good opportunity to maybe trade back.
Exactly.
So, maybe start stockpiling and you get like 2 or 3 real studs in the next couple of years.
I mean, that's what the Browns did.
Yep.
Browns traded back and it's paying dividends.
Yep. So Niners, I'm still excited for their future, but the next 11 weeks, 12 weeks of the season are going to be rough.
Yeah. Overall, it's kind of rough. I hope no one who didn't have a vested interest in this game didn't watch it, because this is a rough game.
I think this game, you can be excited for both of these teams' futures, but maybe not the immediate future. Maybe we're talking like distant future, like 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, I guess for the Cardinals, I don't know what the Cardinals. I mean, they clearly have a plan, kind of on offense, but
I just don't. If to be honest, I don't know enough about Steve Wilkes as a coach to make a determination on the Cardinals.
I don't think anyone does. That's the thing. Like, we don't know enough about Steve Wilkes to really see what he's going to be able to do. But.
So yeah, I'm certainly not going to say he's not the answer. He's a terrible coach, because I just don't know.
No, I think.
And I think time will tell with that.
Bingo.
I guess we can move on to another one of our surprising games, a 2-point margin of victory for the Vikings on the road, knocking off the defending Super Bowl champions 23-21. 2 losses in a row for the Eagles. Are you concerned?
I mean, I would, yeah. I mean, not crazy concerned because I think that division's still very winnable. But this is not the same team we saw that won a Super Bowl.
Definitely not.
There are clearly some flaws here that they need to iron out.
Carson Wentz to me just does not look that comfortable.
Really, the thing I worry about with the Eagles is that I'm kind of starting to lose faith in Doug Peterson. I think we all hopped on the Doug Peterson.
But the Philly special, Jacob.
Well, I keep forgetting about the Philly special. You're right. But besides the Philly special,
that was Nick Foles' call. Nick Foles did say, "Do you want the Philly?" And Doug Peterson was just like, yeah, sure."
So I don't know. I think everyone jumped on this Doug Peterson's next great NFL coach bandwagon last year and like just consistently put him in top 5 lists. And I don't know. I'm not seeing it from Doug Peterson. I think he's a fine coach. I think he's solid, but like, I'm not gonna go and spouting out that he's enough to Bill Belichick. Like, I think he has a lot to learn. I think, and this is a classic example.
Yeah, I gotta remember it's his. Is this really his second year?
This is his third year.
Third year? Okay.
This is his third year coaching. So he definitely has a lot to learn. But I think the problem with the Eagles has just been that they haven't been able to put it together. I think the first few weeks they had an excuse of Wentz. Then you had Wentz coming back, but they still won that game. And these last 2 games have just been poorly executed on offense. And maybe it is Wentz just like getting back used to the offense, like you said, Char. Maybe they should have given him more time in practice. But it just seems to me that whenever the Eagles need a big play, whenever they need a big catch or something, the failure to execute is just on some of the skill position players. So the wide receivers are just dropping passes. Zach Ertz dropped key passes. That's something he wasn't doing last year. You have these corners blowing huge coverages leading to like 75-yard plays. You can't give a team 75 yards like they did against and that Adam Thielen play in the fourth quarter. You can't have Deshaun Jackson burning you twice for 50-plus yards and expect to win football games.
Deshaun Jackson, that's ironic. Yeah, I agree with that.
And J.J. is out for the year.
Yeah, obviously the huge storyline in Philadelphia right now is their pursuit of, major running talent. They're going after supposedly LaShawn McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, and out here in Arizona, I'm hearing they have some interest in David Johnson as well.
I would love a shady return to Philly.
Yeah.
That
I'd
would
be all
awesome.
over that.
Too. That would be so cool.
Of those 3 options, I want that one the most.
By far. I mean, okay, Bell is obviously, I think, would be the best in terms of, like, if they're trying to win. Like, he's the most talented of the 3 to me, but, like, Shady back in the Eagles uniform, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Behind that offensive line,
I need LaShawn McCoy to go back. How about a 3-team trade that sends Kiko Alonso back to the Bills?
Interesting.
Then Ajayi back to the Dolphins.
Interesting. Injured Ajayi back to the Dolphins.
And then Shady back to
Eagles. I like it. Kiko and Shady traded for each other again.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's what the NFL universe needs is a 3-team trade. But yeah, no, I think there's clearly some serious problems here in Philly.
Yeah. Hopefully they get those sorted out. I don't want the Eagles to be done being good. I like watching them. I think they're fun to watch. So
my main complaint with the Eagles is defensively, actually.
Yeah.
Despite what Josh is saying, I have more concerns about this defense just because this pass rush is not where we saw it where it was last year. Mm-hmm. And that's disappointing considering they have, I feel like, 8 super talented pass rushers, and their inability to get to Cousins was a clear part of that game.
Yep. The Bills got the Cousins and the Eagles did not. So
Exactly.
I don't know what that says.
Exactly. That's
one's better than the other. But yeah, I'm concerned a little bit, but not a whole lot. I pegged them for 13 wins, but that's obviously not looking likely at this point. But they're still a playoff team to me. I think probably 9-10 wins that division, regardless of.
They still have a really easy schedule. They still play in a crap division. They still have the most talented quarterback by far of the division. Like, all things are pointing towards a Eagles slight bounce back. But
yeah, plus, they could just get hot in the playoffs like they did last year.
Yeah,
so,
really.
It happens to teams. Like the Ravens did it. The Giants did it twice. I'm not putting anything past the Steelers.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you're doing in October, if we're being honest. Like, we know they're going to be there come December.
Yep. All right, so let's move out west now. Rams and Seahawks, another 2-point game. The Rams coming out on top of this one. Yeah. 33-31. What did you think of this game?
This was a wild game. This was a offensive show, which I did not anticipate. I definitely thought that this was going to be a pretty cut and dry Rams dominant victory.
Yep. We talked about this before the podcast in this edit bay, which is starting to get a little stuffy if you ask me. Anyway, Ndamukong Suh moved out onto the edge, and that's weird. He's been playing inside pretty much his entire career. I don't know. Our best theory is that they wanted less double teams on Sue. But, if they're already double teaming Aaron Donald up the middle, why not just leave Sue there to take that?
It's a weird schematic change that I don't know. I don't think any of us are advanced. We're all relatively advanced football minds, and there's maybe some hidden subtext here that we're missing. But
Sean McVay, maybe he knows something that we don't.
Exactly. Very, very likely Sean McVay knows something we don't, but still seems just a strange sort of change, especially for a team that doesn't seem to need to change anything.
Yeah, exactly. If it's broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. But and that's where the weakness of this Rams defense lies. It's right up the middle. I mean, Chris Carson just gouged them, it felt like, for these 5-6 yard runs on every scene. He looked impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I think making Chris Carson look impressive is that's probably a little harder to do.
Especially behind such the crap show that is the Seahawks offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
They're starting DJ Fluker. DJ Fluker's their starting left guard. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, they the Rams they still won, so I guess good for them.
Exactly. End of the
Similar
day.
to the Chiefs, it's kind of their first okay game. The Chiefs still won by 16, but
okay game for the Chiefs, still won by double digits.
Okay game, but it's not their first loss. So in October, that's really all you can ask for.
Exactly.
Just keep winning games. So I guess move on to Sunday night now. We don't know why this game was Sunday night. It might have looked better before the season.
How is this not flex? How we knew this was going to be crap going in.
Just because of the schedule. They're not allowed to flex until late.
What? They're flexing next week.
They really flex next week.
They flex next week.
But they didn't flex this Cowboys text.
Exactly. I don't get it.
I think it's because the Cowboys are going to draw viewers no matter how good or bad they are.
Facts. That is a good point.
They're America's team. They're up there with the Patriots, where, you ask someone who doesn't pay attention to sports who their favorite NFL team is. It's
True.
Patriots, Cowboys,
Biggest crowd in NRG Stadium for the Texans. That's pretty cool. The biggest crowd in the stadium's history. So clearly, I don't know, the buzz around the game, despite the fact that these two teams are disappointing to say the least. People were piped.
Yep. I'm happy the Texans came out on top. I think. Well, I don't know. I keep saying I think this is it for Jason Garrett, and Jason Garrett keeps coming back, similar to Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones has the vote of confidence for.
I don't know. I think he just wants a mouthpiece there. He just wants someone to say what he's thinking, and that's exactly what Jason Garrett does well.
Yeah. So is Jerry Jones actually the one coaching the team?
I mean, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You see how they played this Sunday night? That would make a lot of sense if Jerry Jones is actually coaching the team.
Yeah. Maybe their first step should be to hire an actual GM, and they might
hire an actual GM, get some wide receivers, build a competent defense. All these things should be high on the Cowboys checklist.
Yeah. I don't know. In terms of poor decision making in the offseason, Jerry Jones is pretty close to Mark Davis, at least in the past year or two.
He's up there. They're going in this year with Allen Hurns as their number one wide receiver. That's pathetic. What are you doing there?
And then I like Leighton Vander Esch. I think he's all right, but why they had some real good talents on the board.
And they had just drafted Jalen Smith. So that means two of their Jalen Smith was the early second. They spent two high picks essentially on two essentially first round picks on the same position on middle linebacker when you already have Sean Lee there.
Yeah, exactly.
So even in the Cowboys perfect scenario, they couldn't play Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, and Leighton Vander Esch all together, which just seems inept at that point. If that's I don't know.
What are you doing?
Remember a couple years ago when Jerry Jones' kid had to take the Johnny Manziel draft card out of his hand and make him pay Zach
we're
Martin?
not doing this.
Exactly. Who knows how that turns out?
Man, that's probably got to be tough to say to your dad.
Yeah. Dad, what are you freaking doing?
You're an idiot.
Dad, stop. That would be. Shout out, I think Steven Jones. Shout out to Steven Jones for doing what none of us could do and stand up to our fathers. But just kidding, Dad. I know you're listening. Love you.
I think I would venture to say our dads are probably a little smarter than Jerry Jones.
I can say with 100% confidence that our dads are smarter than Jerry Jones.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet our dads might be able to run a pro football team a little better than Jerry Jones.
Not only that, but hire people to run a pro football team better than Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shout out to Irwin.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is wild.
Yeah.
So I guess we can move on to our last game from the Week 5 slate. Huge night in terms of NFL history. Drew Brees breaks the all-time passing record in terms of yardage. Saints go and they roll against the Redskins 43-19. Scoregami in this game, which is always pretty cool.
Always awesome.
For those of you unfamiliar with the term scoregami, it just means it's the first time in the history of the NFL that this particular score has happened.
You know who I bet was super excited by this scoregami?
Who?
Ryan Ladica.
Yeah, Ryan Ladica. I don't know if he listens to the podcast or not, but he's a friend of ours, and he's really into
Freaking loves some scoregami. So yeah, I bet he was very excited about this game. We too were very excited though.
So if we were excited about it, then he was probably like jumping up and down.
Yeah,
this meant more to him than Drew Brees becoming the all-time passing leader.
This meant almost as much as like a Rockies win.
Yeah.
Almost. But we're divulging a little too much about Ryan Ladica. But regardless, Saints, Redskins. What you taking away from that?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I don't think that Redskins are that great, and I think the Saints are pretty good. So I kind of expected this, maybe not 43-19, but just an all-around dominant performance by Drew Brees and the Saints. Getting Mark Ingram back definitely helped them out a lot.
Yeah.
We saw some struggles from Kamara there in the past few weeks. So.
Want to hear the storyline I have for my next horror film?
Sure.
It's signing Alex Smith to a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
That might be the scariest thing.
Honestly, I got chills thinking about that.
Every Redskins fan did as well, actually.
I might shit myself in that movie.
That's how scary Alex Smith's 5-year contract is. Yeah, it's wow, that could not have looked worse.
I love it as an Eagles fan. Absolutely love the move.
Man, yeah, that he looked god awful Monday night. He threw some balls that were just like, what are you possibly thinking?
He looked like, in a lot of ways, like it was his first start and he just had no idea what he was doing.
Oh my gosh, no comprehension. That was bad. And the fact that we didn't see any of Colt McCoy is kind of sad, if I'm being honest. Kind of wanted to see some Colt McCoy action.
Yeah, I think similar to his sibling across the country, Jay Gruden might be the problem in Washington.
Yeah, I'm not super impressed from what I've seen from Jay Gruden.
No, he's another guy who's like, keep giving him a chance. Similar to Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, and we just keep giving Jay Gruden chances, and he keeps disappointing.
I wonder how much of that is the Gruden name. Like, I wonder how much weight that carries, because it should carry negative weight. Having the Gruden name should automatically disqualify you from head coaching opportunities, but something about it, I think, just rings true.
Yep. John Gruden has more Super Bowls than Andy Reid, though. So
that is a great point.
It's true.
That's a great point. So I think that wraps up last week's slate of games.
So I want to take a quick look at next week. See what we got laying ahead.
Once again, though, Ryan, you were forgetting
I did it again.
Defensive, and special teams players of the week.
What do you have against the players of the week?
Yeah,
Ryan?
why don't you want to recognize people individually? That's my question.
I don't know. This was my idea, too.
It was your idea.
At the beginning of the season, I said, let's do players of the week. And the past 2 weeks, I have just completely skipped over them. So who is your offensive player of the week?
My offensive player of the week is New York Jets quarterback Sam Darnold. We touched on it earlier in the podcast talking about this game, but he balled out. He looked awesome. Only completed the ball 10 times, but for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's a pretty good day.
He looked awesome to me. He made some real big boy throws that really kind of surprised me, if I'm being honest. Like this is what I imagine Sam Darnold's best case scenario with some of those throws, and that's exactly what he was throwing up. He had this one just ball to Robbie Anderson. He was blanketed by Bradley Roby, but he threw him open. That's my favorite thing to say about a quarterback is that he throws his wide receivers open, and he did that. Darnold did that multiple times on Sunday. Yeah, he looked awesome against the Broncos defense, which I think is legit.
Yep. Go
ahead. Yeah. Who is your offensive player of the week?
I'm gonna take the obvious pick here and go with the new passing yards leader in the history of the NFL, and that's Drew Brees. He had a pretty good game all around anyway, so I like this pick. But
works out.
most of my determination came from the fact that Drew Brees is now the passing yards leader. Congratulations to Drew Brees. We know you listen to our podcast a lot.
Of course.
Huge market we have. But I like Drew Brees a lot. I'm happy for him.
He was awesome. He looked fantastic Monday night. He knew the gravity of the situation, and he knew he was going to ball out.
Yeah.
So anyone who who sat Drew Brees in fantasy. I don't know what you're doing.
Rough.
I sat Drew Brees in fantasy.
Man.
But I still won.
You got that dub, and that's all that
I'll
matters.
tell you why I sat Drew Brees in fantasy, Jacob.
This is the content people are looking for.
I sat Drew Brees in fantasy because Phillip Rivers was playing the Oakland Raiders.
Okay, I mean, you can't fault that logic. That's what I
Yeah,
have to
no,
say.
that's not a terrible reasoning.
An interesting conversation we were having though Monday night as he was breaking this record is that like these passing yard marks just in terms of where they stand in history are going to look really weird in a couple of years just because there's going to be all this new crop of talent with the new rules in the league and just the way the league is going that are going to just completely fuck up what we think of records.
There's like a bunch of clusters. Like right now we have like that Brady Manning Breeze cluster in terms of yards and touchdowns, and then probably down the road we'll be looking at in like another 10 years or so, Goff, Wentz, Mahomes, those guys also just putting up these insane numbers.
And then you guys have the guys in the middle though, like Rodgers and Stafford and Rivers and Roethlisberger, who are putting up these crazy numbers, and just it's going to be interesting how we gauge this historically.
Yeah, I don't know. A question I pose to you is, would you have gotten your child out of bed to watch Drew Brees break the passing record?
Yeah, my answer is not. I'm definitely telling him about it in the morning, and I'm just like, yeah, there's this really good quarterback named Drew Brees, and he broke a record that will probably stand for 5 years, and then somebody else is going, I don't know, it just feels like, I think
it's going to be a longer time.
Okay, no, it's not going to be 5 years, but...
I would have just because it's still pretty...
It is pretty cool, yeah, I guess.
My answer was yes. I don't know. That's coming from a child who was pulled out of bed to watch historical events. Moving on the defense now. Who do you have?
My defensive player of the week was T.J. Watt. In Steelers' big win, I think he was a huge part of that. Racked up 6 tackles and 3 sacks. He is the real deal. He is looking just like his brother in a lot of ways.
I think this might be a hot take, but I think if T.J. Watt can stay healthy, he will be potentially as good as or better than his brother.
Wow, that is a take.
In terms of stats, just because we've lost 3 good years of J.J. Watt in terms of injuries.
But he also threw up 20 sacks in a season.
Okay, that is true.
Yeah.
I don't know if T.J. Watt will ever get there.
He's still, I saw the stat, I don't know, I guess it was Sunday night. Highest sacks per 16 games in NFL history. I think it's like over 14. I think it was like 14.1. The next closest was like 13.8 by Reggie White or something like that. Like, it's still crazy that... Yeah, he's missed all this time, but when J.J. Watt is healthy, he is a force unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, so if T.J. Watt can stay healthy, I think he'll put up very similar numbers.
If he's 75% of his brother, that's a perennial Pro Bowler and a possible Hall of Famer. Exactly. Yeah. So
I think to a lot of people already, J.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer.
Oh my God, yeah, J.J. Watt's a first ballot to me.
Yeah.
He could retire tomorrow and he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer to me.
He doesn't have the numbers that a lot of other Hall of Famers have, but the just pure dominance he showed in the time he's been in the league, just insane. I like how we turned this conversation about T.J. Watt into his brother.
Into a J.J. Watt conversation. But no, yeah, back to T.J. Awesome. He is showing some real cool stuff off the edge. He is showing a maturity and a wiseness beyond his years that I don't think a lot of people anticipated coming out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure.
He has been dominant from the jump, and it's going to be super fun to watch him.
Yeah, I don't want to say... I don't know how to word this exactly. I was a little surprised when the Steelers took him in the first round, but
yeah, me too.
Definitely worth it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, you look. It's funny. J.J. Watt kind of suffered from the same thing. Is that like if he put up his T.J. Watt and J.J. Watt's combine numbers are some of the craziest things we've ever seen. Like they're in the 98th or 99th percentile for basically everything, but for some reason neither of them got the pre-draft recognition that a lot of like these combine studs do, and neither of them really flew up the draft boards like many people would have anticipated.
Like, who would you rather have right now, Solomon Thomas or T.J. Watt?
I think I'm taking T.J. Watt. Solomon Thomas has been awesome, too. That's the thing. Like, Solomon Thomas is good, but T.J. Watt looks like a perennial Pro Bowler from the outside linebacker position.
25, 26 picks in between the two of them.
Something like that, yeah.
So, for me, I guess...
give me your defensive player of the week.
This one hurts a little bit, but I'm going to have to say Geno Atkins is my defensive player of the week, defensive lineman from Cincinnati. Just an annoying presence in the Miami backfield for most of the game. Hurried Ryan Tannehill a bunch of times and 2 big sacks. So in terms of keeping his team in the game, I think Geno Atkins did a real good job. That's enough to win my Defensive Player of the Week award.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like he's consistently overlooked as one of the best D tackles in the league, but he's dominant. He really is the linchpin of that defense. Like,
Yeah.
Once they lost Reggie Nelson and George Iloka, like that, he is the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Plus, his disruption allows the rest of the defense, to do their thing too.
Exactly.
He did a lot more than his stats from the week might show.
Yeah, only he racked up 2 sacks, or 2 tackles. Both were sacks.
Sacks.
But yeah, that's what you're looking for from your D tackle right there.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to special teams now, we came to the conclusion that there's really no one player we could pick.
There's a group. There's a group of players that we wanted to acknowledge. 4 game-winning kicks this weekend.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. We got Graham Gano, Stephen Hauschka,
Kai Fairbairn with the Texans,
and then Greg Joseph.
Bingo. So yeah, 4 game winners.
Yep, that's pretty cool. And then another special teams touchdown this week. I don't know, they're just always one of my favorite things.
From Jakeem Grant.
Yeah, Jakeem Grant.
Making a name for himself as a special teams ace.
Yep, that's his 2nd touchdown of the year. So, in terms of special teams, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
And he's balled out as a receiver too. If they can get him the ball, he's just super quick. So, I like Jakeem Grant. On offense and special teams. So.
Yeah, but shout out to all those 4 kickers. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was very cool, especially Greg Joseph. I feel like Cleveland's kicker is probably now one of the hardest jobs in sports. Like I feel like the pressure's on you is just kind of insurmountable. So great to see him nail something.
Yep. All right. So now, do you want to look at week 6?
Now I guess we could look at week 6.
All right.
Jumping the gun a little bit.
I guess we can hit on Thursday real quick. It's Wednesday when we're recording this, so it'll probably be tonight's game for all of you if we put this up tomorrow. That's Eagles and Giants. I'm not sure what to expect from this game. I think it might be better than a lot of people anticipated, just in terms of competitiveness.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Saquon against this Eagles defense. I think it's going to be a huge moment for the Eagles because they are going up against a crappy quarterback, but some awesome skill position.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how far Saquon and Odell can take this Giants team.
So I think it's going to be interesting because the Eagles team that we saw in the second half of yesterday's game, especially on the offensive side of the ball, was reminiscent of the Super Bowl run. The defense got, I want to say, a lot better in the second half, and the team overall came out different in the second half of that game. And I want to say it shows in the box score, but I can't get the box score in front of me right now.
But yeah, no, I think this has to be a big bounce back week for the Eagles. We have to see something from this. I mean, 2 straight losses.
Yeah,
to fall in New York to your division rival, that would be code red. I sound all the alarms. You need to change everything because that is worrisome. But no, I like the Eagles in this game. I think this is a bounce back. I want to see something from Carson Wentz. I want to see something from this offense. First game of Noah Jai, so I'm curious to see what Smallwood can do. Curious to see what Corey Clement can do. So yeah, I have high aspirations for this Eagles game.
So just to add in, the Vikings outscored the Eagles 17-3 in the first half. In the second half, the Eagles outscored the Vikings 18-6. So again, I feel like the Eagles just came out like a different team in the second half. They just came back too late.
Numbers. Yep. So I'm curious to see what happens Thursday night. So what do you think happens? Give me your prediction for this.
I don't know. I can see this being a game where there's a bunch of yards but not a lot of scoring.
Okay, I can get around that.
I don't know. I could see like a 20-16 Eagles victory here.
See, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking this is relatively low scoring. I didn't want to say 23-21 because that's exactly what happened last week, but I'm thinking like 24-13 Eagles. I think they win relatively convincingly, but yeah, I think there's some serious flaws with this Eagles offense that need to work out.
Yeah. Moving into the Sunday 1:00 games, doesn't look like there's anything. Oh wait, there is something super spectacular. Buccaneers Falcons a couple weeks ago, we thought this is gonna be a super good game, and now it's just like, I don't really care too much about that one in terms of watching it. Same with Panthers Redskins. I don't think we ever thought that was gonna be great, but I don't know. It's not a hype matchup. Honestly, we can
trap game for the Panthers though. For being honest, traveling to Washington after such a disappointing loss, like such an elevating win for the Panthers, and such a deflating loss for the Redskins. That's a classic trap game to me.
Yep. So it looks like the highlight of the 1 o'clock slate is definitely that AFC North matchup between the Steelers and the Bengals. What are you looking forward to in that?
Oh, that's going to be super fun. That's going to be, that's just some AFC North, get gritty, get tough. That's some real football right there.
This is a Bengals win for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Interesting.
I think, I don't think there's going to be too much of a hangover from the Dolphins' comeback. Just seeing how their defense played against the Dolphins' offense, I'm not sold on the Steelers' offense either. So
here's the thing, though. If this is the same Bagels team that was down 17-0 and 14-0, sorry, to the Dolphins,
are they going to be able to come back against the Steelers?
Bingo. Yeah. I don't think the Steelers are letting up a 14. I don't think the Steelers are getting outscored 24-0 in the fourth quarter. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I actually think the Steelers take
really?
This one. I do. I don't want to say I'm buying back into the Steelers, but I think everyone in that division is average. I think everyone in that division is okay, and that's just we're gonna keep seeing these weird interdivisional matchups that just kind of are strange games or strange fluky games.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of what we get here.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm still going to stick to the Bengals. I like them at home.
Yeah, man, can't go wrong with that.
It. I guess the next game I really want to talk about, unless you wanted to hit on Chargers-Browns, is that important to you?
Personally, I'm excited to see Baker Mayfield. I think the Chargers win this one. But I think it'll be a fun game. I don't need to go into too much detail, but I think it'll be interesting. I think this Browns defense is actually drastically overrated. I think people are talking about it as like a sleeper unit, but I don't think sleeper units give up 48 points to the Raiders.
No.
I think the Browns are a tad bit overhyped, which is kind of weird to say. But what other of the 1 o'clock / 10 o'clock games for us West Coasters?
I don't know. I keep looking at Bills Texans. I just feel like that's gonna be like a super weird and funny game to watch.
That's gonna be.
It's
such
just
a weird
like
game.
The Bills who are looking all right against the Texans who are looking not that all right. I don't really know what to expect from this game because I feel like Josh Allen could come out and do that thing he did against Minnesota, but maybe worse because it's the Texans, or Deshaun Watson just gets back on track and does all right.
Oh, God, I hope so. I really want Deshaun Watson back to what we thought he was.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's not that we're not seeing that from him. It's just like he's being handcuffed by this god awful offensive line. I think personally the worst offensive line I've ever seen watching football. In all my years covering and watching football, this is the worst I've ever seen it. And Bill O'Brien's joke of a head coach. So that combo pack right there is pretty tough to overcome.
I don't know. I'm in the camp. I think if I'm Texans ownership, I think it might be time to start considering moving on to the draft.
Interesting.
Letting Bill O'Brien go at the end of the year.
I mean, I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
I don't know. That just comes back to the question: would you rather see the Texans in the Super Bowl or see Bill O'Brien fired?
And I'm going to give you the same answer, probably Bill O'Brien fired, because I think Watson's young enough that get him someone like, Sean McVay, Matt Nagy, Matt LaFleur, like one of these young up-and-coming offensive minds, and that could be a partnership that flourishes for the next 10 to 12 years.
Who's that Texas Tech guy you're so high on?
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, he'd be awesome.
That would be fun.
He would be so much fun. Texans putting up 63 points a game, giving up 58. I'm extremely here for it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be fun. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury to the Texans. We're starting that now.
All right, good. Let's get those campaign posters printed. I don't know. Bears Dolphins, kind of a fascinating game. See how the Dolphins rebound from that really awful loss to Cincinnati.
See what Chicago's made of coming off a bye week.
Man, I want to pick the Dolphins because they're at home, but I'm gonna have to take the Bears.
I don't know. I could see the Dolphins squeaking this one out.
I could see it, but right now I'm just leaning Bears. I don't know why.
I think everybody needs to pump the brakes on these Bears type. I mean, they put up 48 points, but let's pump the brakes just a second.
They're also playing the Dolphins, so
exactly.
That's the thing this is one of those toss-up games. I think
we're forgetting the fact that Mitchell Trubisky is bad. I don't think we're remembering that enough.
Yeah,
I am sticking on my Mitchell Trubisky's bad camp. I don't care if he threw 6 touchdowns 2 weeks ago. Mitchell Trubisky is not good at football.
Okay.
So I'm sticking.
Noted.
Duly noted. Moving on to the afternoon games though. Only a handful. So what's really juicing you?
Rams Broncos looks like it could be fun if those defenses can get it back together.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That has the potential to be a super low scoring game, like a 9-6 kind of game.
Really? You think the Broncos defense, after giving them 34 to Darnold, could hold the Rams to 9?
No, that was a really bad thing to say just then.
Yeah.
No, but I still think it could be kind of low scoring.
I can
Maybe
see that,
low
yeah,
scoring,
yeah.
like 20-17.
I can get behind that.
I don't think it'll be that close, though. I think the Rams just have so much more talent than the Broncos do.
Yeah.
So while it has the potential to be close, I think it's probably Rams most of the way.
Yeah, I think this might be low on it,
Yeah.
for being honest. Like, I could definitely see the Rams really running away with this one, where like
And the
putting up-
Broncos just continue to fall apart.
just pissed off after
Yeah.
that, after almost losing to the Seahawks, just putting up like 60, just being
Yeah.
like, yeah, screw you, Vance Joseph.
As a fantasy owner of Todd Gurley, I approve that.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Rams Titans always kind of an interesting game.
Ravens things.
Ravens.
Ravens Titans. Sorry. Oh man, I'm just having a rough day.
Hey, it's just been a rough 30-second stretch. You're chilling.
Yeah. No, I think that game has the potential to be interesting, but I'm not too sure.
I would advise not watching this game if you're not invested, because this is just going to be a shit show. if I'm being honest.
This could be that 9-6 game.
Exactly. There you go. You were just
Actually, the Ravens have lost a 12-9 game, and the Titans have won a 9-6 game. So, I don't know.
makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of
This
sense.
this one's gonna be 15-12.
These are two brutal offenses and solid defenses, and so that combination right there leads to some wonky stuff.
I see a rebound this week from Jacksonville against this not good Cowboys team.
I plan on putting a fair amount of money on this Jacksonville team because I think I am just going to go into Dallas and eviscerate them. I think this Dallas team is really bad.
Yeah.
I feel very confident in saying that, and just I think the Cowboys are a dumpster fire, and I think the Jaguars are good enough to exploit that. You know, and I think they roll into Dallas and destroy everything. I think Jerry Jones leaves in a body bag because this is going to be bad. Not even anyone on the field. Jerry Jones is the one in the body bag. Yeah, that's how brutal it's going to be.
All right, so I guess final game on Sunday, probably the most hyped matchup of the week. That is Chiefs-Pats in Foxborough. Same night as an ALCS game. So
That should be fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I think that's a game that actually got flexed though. The Chiefs-Pats got flexed to Monday.
Oh yeah, because of that.
I believe.
Probably because of baseball.
Or wait, or not. Or was that the game that got flexed to Sunday night?
That was the game that got flexed Sunday night.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what am I on? What I'm saying? But
the
still
Chiefs
gonna
and
be
Patriots are playing Sunday night, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
going to
still-
be a fun game. I'm going to go out on a limb here and take the Chiefs in this one. I think they're just better
Interesting.
all around, and last year they were able to do it with Alex Smith. I think this Patriots team is significantly worse, and I think Mahomes is significantly better than Alex Smith. So that just seems like they have all the ingredients to walk out of Foxborough with a win.
yeah, this is gonna be an awesome game. This is the highlight of the weekend for sure. Mahomes going into Foxborough, first real intense environment he's gonna have to go into.
Mhm.
This is gonna be awesome. I'm super curious to see what Bill Belichick whips up. I think we kind of saw Mahomes. I don't want to say kryptonite because it didn't stop him, but definitely slowed him down last week. And so with everything with the Jaguars, it's more of their personnel rather than scheme. So
Yeah.
with the Patriots, it ought to be the exact opposite. It ought to be all scheme.
Yeah, and I just don't know if they had the tape to prepare for that yet.
Interesting. That's a good take. That's a good point. We might just not know enough about Mahomes to stop him.
Yeah, not on Sunday at least, not this Sunday.
That's gonna be a great game.
So I'm taking the Chiefs in that, and then we finish out the week with Niners at Packers, a game that we had circled on our calendars back in August, and here we are, and it's.
I was wishing this was flexed. That's what I was
Yeah.
talking about. I wish this had been flexed. Yeah, I'm not looking super forward to this game. I think it's a great chance for the Packers to get back on track though.
Yeah, for sure.
Hosting the Niners, hosting CJ Beathard,
Yeah,
come on now is the time to get back.
If the Packers lose, something is terribly wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway from this game. The Packers have way more lose than the Niners have to gain in this one. Serious red flags should be going off.
Yeah.
If the Packers are losing this game.
Yeah, and they've already lost to Washington and Detroit, so and tied the Vikings. But
Exactly.
that's different because it's the Vikings. Anyway, we'll see. I'm pretty excited for this week. I'm always excited for football.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Always excited for football.
I don't know. I wish every day was Sunday. No, not really, because then the season would be over in a month and a half. But no. Okay week last week, okay week coming up, but I'm sure something will happen that'll make us say, "Oh man, best week yet."
Exactly.
Just like we keep doing.
Exactly.
Anything else you'd like to throw in?
No, I just can't wait for this game. Or for this week. I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of really exciting matchups and intriguing matchups. You know, last week kind of shifted everything I knew to a certain extent. Definitely kind of flipped a lot of what I felt certain about in the NFL on its head.
For sure.
So I'm very curious to see how these teams adjust.
Yeah, but a lot of games this week that could probably make or break the rest of the season, I would say.
We are definitely creeping into win now or must win territory. Like games where they're like, okay, if you realistically want a shot at the playoffs, you have to win this game.
And so that's exciting, and I think that's a good place to end on. We can wrap it up.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in your ears next week.